Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to do something fun. We're cracking open our everyday gadgets, laptops, power supplies, the works, to really get a handle on that tiny, intricate world inside that makes them all tick.
Have you ever looked at a circuit board and just wondered what on earth all those little parts are actually doing? It can look like a totally chaotic little city of components. But trust me, there's a brilliant order to it all, and today we're going to find it together.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the basics, power and protection. Then we'll get into what I call the three passive pillars. These are the real workhorses. After that, we'll meet the active brains, the parts that actually make the decisions. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together. Let's do this. Turn that chaos into clarity, one step at a time.
All right, first up, power and protection. Think of these components as the gatekeepers of electricity. They're the first line of defense, managing that initial flow of power and making sure the whole system is safe before anything else can even happen.
So, let's talk about the fuse. It's such a simple little thing, but it's an absolute hero on any circuit board. Its one and only job is to fail. Seriously. If the current spikes to a dangerous level, a tiny wire inside just melts and breaks the circuit. It's literally a sacrificial bodyguard for all the more expensive parts.
And here's what's so important about fuses. They are incredibly specific. You got to pay attention to two key ratings: amperage, or amps, and voltage. So let's say a 3-amp fuse blows. You can't just stick a 10-amp fuse in there and call it a day. It might feel like you're upgrading it, but you're actually just removing all the protection. You're putting the whole device at risk.
Okay, so the power's in the door, it's safe. Now what? Well, it needs to be converted. And that is the job of this guy, the bridge rectifier. It's basically the universal translator for electricity. It takes that alternating current, the AC power from your wall outlet, and turns it into direct current, or DC, the steady power that pretty much every single component in your device needs to work.
So now we've got clean, safe, direct current. Awesome. But now we have to control it, we have to shape it. And that's where our three passive pillars come into play. Now these guys don't make any decisions, but they are the absolute workhorses of any circuit.
And this table breaks it down perfectly. First, you've got the resistor. Think of it like a dam in a river, just slowing down the flow of current. Then you have the capacitor, which is kind of like a tiny, super fast charging battery that stores and releases energy to smooth things out. And finally, the inductor, which stores energy in a magnetic field, sort of like a water wheel that gets the current moving. They're called passive for a reason. They just react. But man, without them, nothing would work right.
But here's the thing, capacitors are not a one-size-fits-all deal. Not at all. You'll see these big, barrel-shaped electrolytic ones, and their job is to filter the main power supply. But then you'll see these tiny little ceramic ones sprinkled all over the board. And what are they doing? They're getting rid of all that high-frequency electrical noise. You know that annoying buzz you sometimes hear? It's thanks to these little guys that your audio sounds clean.
Okay, now for the really cool stuff. The active components. If the passive parts are like the plumbing and pipes of the city, these are the traffic cops, the managers, the decision makers. These are the components that are actually switching signals on and off and bringing the whole device to life.
So let's look at two types of diodes. A standard diode, super simple. It's just a one-way street for electricity. Current can go this way, but not that way. Easy. But then you have the Zener diode, which is a lot smarter. It's more like a security guard with a special rule. It actually lets current flow backward, but only when the voltage hits a very specific level. This makes it a perfect voltage stabilizer.
And now, the big one, the transistor. Seriously, these are, without a doubt, the fundamental building blocks of all modern electronics, period. Every single one is just a microscopic, electronically controlled switch. And the fact that we've been able to make them smaller and smaller and smaller is the entire reason for the explosion in computing power over the last few decades. We're talking billions of these things working together to make your computer, well, compute.
Now this is a super important piece of advice. A lot of these components, we're talking MOSFETs, voltage regulators, transistors, they can look exactly the same. You can't tell them apart just by looking. So how do you know what one actually does? You have to look up that tiny part number printed on it. It's basically the component's unique fingerprint. It's DNA.
Okay, what about a relay? This thing is so cool. It's a clever little device that lets a tiny, low-power signal control a totally separate, high-power circuit. How does it work? Well, it uses a small electromagnet to physically pull a lever and flip a much bigger switch inside. It's exactly like using your little pinky finger to safely flip some massive, high-voltage industrial switch from way across the room. So if we're saying transistors are the individual workers, then an integrated circuit, or an IC, is the entire factory, or maybe the whole office building. These little black chips are incredible. They pack millions, sometimes billions of components into one single unit to do really complex jobs, like holding all of your computer's startup instructions.
All right, so we've met the gatekeepers, the passive workhorses, and the active brains of the whole operation. But we're not quite done. To really complete the picture, there are a few more key players that we need to talk about. These are the parts that help the entire electronic symphony play in perfect harmony.
And this is the supporting cast. They might seem secondary, but they are absolutely essential. You've got the crystal oscillator, which is like the circuit's heartbeat, providing a steady, precise timing signal. Without it, everything's out of sync. Then you have heat sinks, which are basically just pieces of metal that stop powerful components from literally burning out. And of course, you have connectors and batteries. Without those, the device couldn't talk to anything or even turn on.
And at the end of the day, that's the real magic, isn't it? It's this incredible, lightning-fast collaboration between all these unique parts. Each one is doing its one specific job perfectly, and together, they transform what's basically a lifeless chunk of metal and silicon into the powerful, essential tools we rely on every single day.
So hopefully, after this little tour, that hidden world inside your tech looks a little less like chaos and a lot more like an elegant, coordinated masterpiece of engineering. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you turn on a device, which tiny hero are you going to think of first? The humble little fuse standing guard? Or maybe that crystal oscillator keeping perfect time? Thanks for joining me.